You know, a lot of people say that he was born on third base. In a sense, he was. He's born with the Trudeau last name. He was born with good looks. He was born with connections. The question is how did you use those? You look at this last 78 days. That, I think, sort of defined him. I think he's become, in the eyes of a lot of people, a better politician for having done what he did so flawlessly over the last 78 days.
Day one, a portrait of the Trudeau campaign begins here in Vancouver at the city's Gay Pride Parade. An unorthodox campaign from the start, launching far from Ottawa. Most of the Liberals' winning decisions are on display right here. The candidate without a jacket, wading into the crowd with a manic energy. Whether political calculation or qualities that come naturally, the approach will serve him well in the 11 weeks to come. Including here, a gift of rolling with whatever moment a campaign can deliver.
These are the sort of the wild days of everything, where you get to see what this guy is like without the pretensions of power.
Martin Patriquin is Quebec bureau chief for Maclean's magazine and reported on the Liberal team.
If you had any other politician, and I would probably even include Obama in this, had a topless woman run up to him and get into a frame and then snap a shot of themselves, I don't think they would have reacted the way that Trudeau did. If you look at that picture, he might have been, he was with a topless woman, but he might have been with a toddler or somebody's grandmother. He was smiling, he was happy, and he just did it. There was not any shame in that. It wasn't like there was anything wrong with that. So, you know, people can make fun of him all they want on social media, but the fact is that it didn't bother him at all.
Early on, the Liberals make a key strategic decision, promising billions in infrastructure spending and running deficits to pay for it. It's the all-important wedge issue, isolating the NDP, and voters get behind the idea.
Well, we believe that the economy needs investment, jobs, and growth.
Journalist Jonathan Kay worked with Trudeau on his recent memoir and believes the deficit decision was a bold move.
For Trudeau, there was this vanishing sliver of political real estate between the Conservatives and the NDP. And I think he realized that he could either live in this vanishingly small piece of political real estate, or he could break out and go to the left of the NDP on a few key issues. He made a bold statement that he wasn't going to be hemmed in as the party that sat between the NDP and the Conservatives. He was going to be his own guy.
The gambit to go in and say we're going to run deficits is from the brain of Gerald Butts. We were at an event in Montreal. It was almost like he couldn't believe his luck. And one of the things that he said to me, he sort of said this, he turned around and he says, like, the NDP blew their brains out on this. They should have gone deficit, but they didn't because they're hidebound to not being Ontario in the 90s under Bob Rae, right? They're still trying to get past that reputation.
The debates. As Trudeau enters that stage, Conservatives openly deride him. One Tory spokesman says if he only shows up with pants on, he will exceed expectations.
A Canadian is a Canadian.
And yet Trudeau manages to find a voice voters relate to. Some describe as a principled resentment of Harper.
I think voters were so eager for someone who was full-throated in their criticism of Harper, in their energy to take Harper on. It was nervy and aggressive enough that it convinced the sort of people who are wavering between the Liberals and the NDP that this was their guy.
Watching the candidate up close, there's a physicality to Trudeau. While most candidates live in the bubble of a campaign, Trudeau dives into the crowd, as though fueled by that kind of social interaction.
Thanks for coming out today.
He is like an engine that is always idling, and it never actually comes to a full stop. When we were having editorial discussions about his book, he would sit down for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But as soon as he found a point that animated him, he would jump up and start pacing the room. It's not even something I think he realized he was doing, but it's something he almost needed to do to think.
This morning at a Montreal metro station, the candidate, now Prime Minister designate, still needing to connect with people. If there's a vulnerability for Trudeau, it's perhaps the reality of politics and the decisions to come that will surely anger some Canadians.
He's so hypersocial. He feels so hyper-connected to the people around him. He doesn't want to disappoint anybody. And politics, to a large extent, is about making tough decisions that are always going to make people sad. And in some cases, it's going to make millions of people sad and angry, and in some cases, horrified. And for somebody who loves being loved as much as Trudeau, I think his biggest challenge is making those decisions and seeing the angry looks in voters' faces, because that's inevitable for anyone who's leading a big country.